Hello. I report to you because system in Germany does not work in my case. I applied and I complained a lot, and all my duties and efforts did not match actually with the German system. Although I already had a judgment, it became ignored and disrespected. Because I became offended a lot and my rights became offended a lot, I have a less, and that is, of course, a problem to me. In Germany, in the German system, to achieve anything can be possible, even when you have hard destiny. And I could achieve a lot, but the circumstances frequently to be victim of corruption, ignorance, and disrespect is, of course, not a good life. Between a real good estate and wealthy lives and anyway wealthy economy, outraging brutality and hatred is available. It is not comparable to any situation else in the world. That Germans are able in a completely working economy, a state with welfare state and a rich middle class, to to judge people to death, to ruin people to death, and um, give give an order to that like it would be destiny. And this is happening here every day. For example, Nazi descendants in Germany maybe have a death average of 80 years, and workers from abroad and immigrants, for example, from Turkey or Russia, maybe get less old, like 60 years old. It is always hard to struggle, even for the smallest efforts, like achieving equal social rights, being respected by neighbors, surrounding, and contractors, or having an equal working contract. It is everywhere. You need to claim, claim, claim. I had to claim in my social rights, in my rights for a contractor, in my legalities, in everything I need to claim. Without claiming, I would have each year less 1,000 euros, less 2,000 euros, and I need to claim all the time. And of course, the parties I claim to mostly refer to Germans, Nazi descendants, or their trails. It is a hard thing, and when you become offended, like me, that you became a transplantation victim, a victim of medical crimes, a victim of research crimes, and additionally, later in my life, I became burglared and offended very, very hard. It is very, very hard, and it's you cannot imagine that in Germany people live in a surrounding can give you a lot. But the circumstances here are so full of hatred and disadvantages for open people, for international people, it is unforgivable. When I would live in a death camp anywhere in a desert with thousands of people with not enough to food, I would die because a lack of food. But in Germany, we don't have, and they are so rude, and you cannot imagine. It is beneath a human's dignity how they treat you, and that from a position having a house, did not pay on their own Holocaust compensation, and living in 2, 3 houses, having 2, 3 cars, having a regular income, and living in a real wealthy middle class, but treating others like dirt and beneath human dignity. For example, I met one time a couple from Africa who had been declared for being indigenous couple from Africa. they became tackled by German governments that their kid would not be perfect, that their kid would be anyway not completely perfect with matching with the system. And the couple had been indignant and they did not understand. They did not understand how cruel, how what heart of cruelty need to be that humans can live in a world like we do. They think everybody is so good, and this is why everything is so good here. And that is the basic for understanding and for respect. And it's a bit too much respect, and by that respect, you die. And these people were dying here in winter in Cologne, in the city center next to the railway station, sitting together on a bank and dying by coolness. They were respecting the German society a lot, and the Germans took the child from the indigenous couple, and the indigenous couple started to buy toys for the child, started to buy a lawyer to get the child back. They became heavily in doubt, and they did not understand that respect for the people who don't have respect and have a base on disrespecting the whole world to live in a healthy, wealthy middle class cannot be the only way to survive a situation like that. But you struggle to death. Whether you are respecting, you are working together, whether you open your arms and accept everything, and that is a big problem. And the only solution is that in Germany, in all offices need to work international people like international people live in Germany, because they are too hard, too lenient, not with itself but with others, and it's too hard. And to face this outraging brutality, this ignorance for rights of others, for example, to realize I live in a country and I go to school, I go to work, and all that people, when you are in landscape, are disrespecting you. And they disrespect you to death. And you don't die, you struggle and you go to justice and you claim. And there's the next Nazi descendant, and it's disrespecting your right in struggling. And this is going on and on and on and on. And it is a mess. It is not okay. It is unacceptable. And in my case, I'm not from typically immigrants. I live here more than 39 years, and I became hospitalised because of the cruelty of the German government's branches and offices. It's an outraging cruelty you cannot imagine, and it's the same disrespect for human rights like the Nazis. And that is what I want to show you, that I want to face you, that it is not okay and not possible to leave it like that, because they want more and more, and they do not stop by its own, and they disrespect equality for working for international people in our society, in our branches. They disrespect even me. I feel listed. I am white. I have a German ID. Whether it is wrong or not, I have a German ID. I apply to any kind of more official working places, and I have a really truly right to get a position, because once I did graduation for the state of Bavaria to be here, an instance for testing genetic working stations in fabrics with a genetic trail. They stole from me my graduation when I changed the district of Germany, and now they don't have a documentation anymore. But on this apprenticeship, on this graduation, I have a lot of rights to get a position, and I don't get. And I have a German ID, but the thing is, I feel listed, and I'm not the only person. And generally, it is not okay that people with a lack of social skills, with a lack of social complete intelligence, because they are offended by Zyklon B, are treating others like dirt to death. And you don't need to be indigenous to suffer a destiny like that, but it is fastening the process a lot. But it is the best example that this picture you have here, it is perfect and that need to be respected, is the symbol that you have the need to be respected in your rights. It is not possible to live here on the will of the surrounding, on the will of the German people, to be nice, friendly, honestly, diligent. That is not enough. They took from you your clothes, your habits, your own, your wealth, your child, your ID, your income, your intelligence, your work, and they left for you. If you don't struggle, nothing. They left for you nothing. I became stolen on my work, on my um, uh, work. I was creating a process to produce a medical pharmaceutical, and I was doing research. I was inventing something. I became stolen. It's you cannot imagine. People go into your flat, go through your documents, steal your ID, apply for heritage in another country, always Germans. It is not possible to live here on the will of Germans. And really, a lot of times and a lot of decades I tried, even when I had been a child. I was a regular child. I never tortured anybody that anybody would harm with me, that I do not have a right to live here. Never. But what I received is different. What I received was tortures and life threatening. And what I have since I became interfered by hard corruption. So it's so hard you cannot manage it on your brain, because it's not able to understand, because you did nothing and you became disrespected by Germans who act and look like Nazis, and you cannot do anything. And I became hit and disrespected in my rights, unforgivable. And it is not possible to solve it. I took lawyers, I complained, I wrote letters, and the ignorance is enormously. And the people who work on the complaints are always Nazi descendants, Germans. And they do not respect the democratic organization of the officers, that you can complain, and maybe when you complain 5 times, you find a person who is understanding you and is helping you, because there's a wide range of people, and it is a mess. But I am not a crime that I am a member in a criminal organization, or that I have a threatening criminality or anything like that. I'm not. But they offended my rights in an enormous sum of cases, and did not compensate it, did not judge it, and they declare their injustice to a right against every right, against human rights, international right. It's unforgivable. And to face that, that you live among killers, that you always need to handle, that you live among killers who did not respect your rights, is in my point. It came to a point that I am physically affected by hospitalism, and even I had, of course, when I was a child. It is always traumatizing to make that experience in Germany again and again, that you do not achieve your rights, and it does not matter on the capabilities, like going to a lawyer or trying a lot or trying honestly or trying good. It is fascism. It is only fascism, and it's not okay. For example, that you become offended by government and they disrespect the truth, and that is their right. The disrespect and honest treating in cases, and to face that people who are here responsibility, who are declared to be in right, always are acting against right. So you did nothing, you don't have a line you can walk on, it does not exist for you, you are listed like a judge in Holocaust. And of course, I think it used to be compensated. For example, so I'm 40 years old and I have hospitalism traits like that. I have pain and others cause, so I want to have compensation for all the awful things they did to me here. For example, I have overextension of joints during sleep, overextension of the hip by bending the legs. And this is something I have since I became a victim of German welfare system and family affairs. It's unforgivable. And for example, I became in contact through my child with people who disrespected my rights when I had been a child, and I deny the cases. And the officers are not documenting, and all they lie. They talk to you like psychos. I need to hold on contact with people who are totally psychos. I have the feeling I call with kidnapping psychos from a hijacking nightmare horror thriller, and this is German welfare system. And this is unforgivable when you become adult and you you need to stay here a bit longer, but then you need to go all through that with your child again, and then you can meet the rapers who raped you when you had been a child within the state welfare state branches, and they do not remember, and they don't have documentation that you ever had been there. And this is outraging. It is disgusting and ugly, and they lie, destroy your life, disrespect your rights a lot, and this is a kind of abuse and cruelty. Even me, for adult, is suffering, and I started to become this kind of hospitalism. And it's that I have a trauma or hospitalism. They don't care. They give a damn on. Even when I have like cancer problem, because I had a cancer when I was a child in aesthetic cancer, which developed well, but I have dysfunction anyway a bit, and I need to take care, for example, for environmental pollution, because I get problems more faster than others. I get fast problems. They don't care. They don't give to you expensive medication, expensive treatments, because you're listed. I don't receive equal medical help. It's when I go to a German doctor, I'm treated like an asshole. I'm treated damn. And for this hospitalization, or other problems, it is not possible. They disrespect, and they only give you dump to live like a flu until you die. But it is the cruelty and the behavior against human rights, which is an enormous amount. It is unforgivable. And of course, I'm not the only victim, but I had a bad start in life, and it's for me very hard. And you can achieve a lot. You can try so hard. So I did science. Others earn with my work now billions. They did not give me a job. So you can really try so good, but they are so assy. It's unforgivable. And even adults like me suffer it, and you are forced, and you become things like hospitalism, and this is unforgivable. I made other experience which are an example for the harsh cruelty against immigrants and people from abroad who start to live here. Is how the police, for example, the government, it's not the police on its own, is attacking, for example, parts of town where a big average of people, Muslims and others living. It's I cannot imagine whether you like the people or not. It is not equality. It is not okay. And when I go to justice and I apply to my to my law, I don't receive it. It is dumb. And I'm a different kind of person, maybe like others, but I'm alone too. So I'm completely alone. I have my child, and I am more interested maybe in science and fine arts. So I leave Germany, but others don't, and they struggle. But it is not wrong to struggle to people who try to kill you. But what I could face is like hard biometric abuse, so unforgivable hard biometric abuse. So I don't harm. I am not in an organization but my biometric data is abused in a range, so it's unforgivable. Wherever I will go and have a home, there will not only be a letter for my name, there will be a letter no entry for Germans. It is outraging, disgusting, and 2 months ago approximately, I was in a house in the city center of Nuremberg in South City, and I was walking upstairs, and on the last step, so I realized, okay, they really organize the securities for the system in the way that they obtain a whole house, maybe a whole house line, and you become a headache. You cannot really breathe. It is anyway, it is possible to care for securities, but they do not in equality. It is outraging. It is completely outraging. And the opposite is people like me. So I don't live in a quarter with high average of people from abroad. I don't attend any church. I'm not a member in any group. I always was looking further, looking on my targets to have a career, to have a good life. That had been my targets, and I completely become ruined. I had the most bad start to live here ever. No other person had a problem like me, and they completely ruined me. It is unforgivable. So I'm 40 years. I mess with my life. 40 years are completely for the dustbin for me.